Hey, thanks everybody so much for coming out. There's a lot of people in this room that are important to me. It's nice to see them. It's nice to see all of you, even those of you who aren't important to me, I guess. That was a weird way to say that. I have been working for the last little while on a series of poems about a fictional character named Winona Stone, and all of the poems I'm going to read today come from this series. Normally, for most of it, she is an adult, but the first two that I read are going to be Winona, featuring Winona as a child. There isn't really a whole lot of complicated things to explain, so I may at some point just kind of start reading these straight through. But I just chewed a Ricola because I hadn't sucked it in enough time. And now it's all in my teeth. I was like, okay, this is the first one. This is A Scene Not Made. Midsummer on the brink, your wits and ends get tied like flies. Winona's casting lines, hoping to reel in something she can save. She tries to catch her mother at this age, already hitched and stitched and wanting more than what her roles required. Winona tries, but draws instead a memory like a boot. The front porch, summer, Mrs. Stone in slacks, church shoes, some crab shack shirt. She's breaking in the shoes or pacing, thin-skinned, over-browned, with sunken features like an apple doll. She's waiting for her sons, or anyone. Her brow says, well. Her feet, though, hammer home the sure counterpoint. No sign of them. Winona stays inside, but looking out the window. In another century, this room would be the drawing room. The stones don't have a name for it, all shades of green, the carpets, drapes, and moldings, hideous. Winona drives a stagecoach up and down the walls. Her right arm swings and skirts the sill, defying gravity. Patience, for her, is just a vehicle borne on by whim. This is before she knows the difference between a noun and verb, but knows enough to figure something isn't happening. There's music in her mother's brooding pace, and in Winona too. The motors hum, dissembling their silence like a slip that zips to hide a cushion's ugly pattern. Still, girl world's safer. She can turn around. To drive is hope, and hope a push like driving. From floor to wall and back, she drives to coax the meaning from the motion, saying yes and almost singing, surface, surface, surface. One of the things that Winona and I have in common is that we both played basketball. So Winona's a little older in this one. And she's outside the gym waiting for a ride after a game. Lady Raiders fall early. Go on, she's listening, so set her straight. She never said she'd been upright her whole life. Take those knee pads. They've seen better days. Those cheeks she's turned and turned and turned. So flushed here, curbside, waiting on a ride. Winona's not so broken up. In 7 seasons, all she's learned is loss involves perspective. How big of her, you might be thinking. On occasion, she'd agree. She's big in certain circles. Thrown to the corn-fed farm girls, though, she's splotchy, guaranteed to catch an elbow where it hurts, which is almost everywhere. And nights like these, the stars so dim, the sky's a scoreboard she can't read. Winona sighs, my God, get on with it. Advice God doesn't need. Almighty whistleblower, earth is just his rattled seed. The Stones. Winona has 2 brothers. One's estranged. The other lives in town. It's not her fault she likes him less, though nobody's concerned with her concerns. Estrangement, as it goes, is not the sort of thing the Stones discuss. At dinner Sundays, they talk moles. We might have moles, they say. They talk potential moles and pork chops, charred, a greasy bark too charred. A stone might see a mole. They eat this way. If Mrs. Stone turns cold, she often does, the silent treatment, ruffled feathers, blahs, they speak for or about her. Mother likes a darker char, don't you? You've cleaned your plate, she has. She's happy. As a last resort, Winona or her brother maybe ask their father, how's your this or that these days? And he replies, I've noticed an improvement, meaning in something, shut up, anything. So this is out of this set, this is the only one that I read last year, so I apologize for those of you that heard it. But one of the things I did when I was first creating Winona and her world is I would just kind of stick her in new situations and see how she reacted. So this is Winona at a cocktail party. Slow fade. Winona in a dress that doesn't fit. The drape's all wrong. She looks like she's been hit by a baby shower. Plus, her hair's a wreck. Think Shirley Temple on a rooftop deck come late July. Wind smacks the tablecloths and snuffs the votives. Overzealous moths self-immolate. Well, isn't this a bitch, she thinks, stiff smiling, though she's sure to ditch the cordial stick. A friend she's sampling has taken her under an ample wing, which, fanning out this evening, spans a flock of locals about town. Fine feathered stock, seersuckered, atomized, they're lovely, ripe for conversation, not Winona's type. The plot unfolds, backwater roman fleuve, handshaking husbands, wives who say, make love, as in, when Doug and I were making love, or Doug made love to me, or Doug, that love we made was really something. Out of touch with social cues, Winona drinks too much, which suits her role, the shoe about to drop. Were she to belt the good ship lollipop, they'd chuckle, what a ham, and, feeling smug, rehash it after making love to Doug. Instead, she whirls her drink, eviscerates a napkin, little loves me nots, and waits to find a way around the mise-en-scène. No matter where she is, she's looking in on someone else's story. That's the threat, becoming extra on a crowded set. Winona wonders, if you fill a space, are you still extra? But she holds her face at whoop-de-doo, grinning, chagrin intact. A round of whoop-de-doo helps things contract. And that's her superpower, as it were. She's good at shrinking what could swallow her. So Winona has some interesting hobbies, and this touches on one of them. Human resources. Look, she's not saying that she didn't sculpt a tiny model of the weatherman in polymer clay. She absolutely did, and it was marvelous. No easy feat. You find her someone who can stripe a button down and pocket square, forge cufflinks at matchbook scale, and she'll hair lip the Pope. It's true, too, she built a model of the station, but just the set, no cameras or talking heads. He needed context, don't we all? And right again, she stuck the tiny weatherman on the real weatherman's car, upright like a hood ornament, no strings attached. That's why she had to stake out the station, which took a week and several lenses, some of them illegal. But look, it was a gift Winona didn't rush. She shaved the jaw and neck bone, added props, poncho, barometer, wind tunnel, before arriving at munificence. Munificent and then some, and excuse her for living. It never crossed her mind he wouldn't be flattered. Tell her what's more flattering. So to suggest she's hopped the fence between propriety and private property, well, that's the lowest blow. Maybe he wasn't keen to see things as they are because, she didn't glam it up. She left loose skin, the dented nose, the belly fat. Winona's had her fill of Davids, all muscle and junk, and she'll take the moles, the goiter, any day. But hey, she hears no one wants to be a creep. You ask him, though. Let him cool off first, then ask the weatherman when he was last demoralized. We all know Nevers what he'll say, and look, Winona tools around with clay, but not for any other reason than she likes to get the details right. It makes her feel it's tricky, like a god must feel, shaping nothing into something she can hold but never grasp. And then, incidentally, Winona and the weatherman end up having a relationship of sorts. And it ends here. The diabetes luau. Arriving late amid a haze of lays and beachwear clinging to cracks and cleavage, floral prints so loud her eyes were ringing, Winona motored through the crowd and hummed the theme from Jaws. She didn't stop to thank the host for such a worthy cause. It seemed, at best, peripheral, as, daiquiri in hand, she waited in the daiquiri line. Proceeding then, as planned, she scanned the bodies by the pool and porta potties, made a beeline for the dunking booth, just missing the parade of hula girls with 4G phones who'd formed a circle, tweeting, as someone in a shrimp costume fell face down, overheating. And while her moo-moo caught the flow of traffic like a sail, she drifted toward the cramped veranda. There, leaned on a rail, Winona found the weatherman, and there she lost him too, when, with a partly sunny smile, he deplumed the blue umbrella from his cocktail, speared her ponytail, and said, voila, as if this might forestall the thunder in her head. So one of the characters that comes back begins in this poem, and it's Winona's dead friend, Nancy. When Nancy was alive, she wasn't good. The sort who broke the rules because she could. She had no boundaries and a nasty mouth. Her moral compass either pointed south or spun out. Riding high on the dark horse of waywardness, she never found a course she couldn't stray from. As for golden rules, she pawned them. As for love's unsuffered fools, she left a glut, sad swooning. Necromancer and harpy, succubus and table dancer, she charmed the pants off Elvis, people said. First she went missing, then she turned up dead. And no one sent a card or called the florist except Winona, left in life's dim forest alone. She'd always trusted Nancy's lead, a friend so surely doomed she saw no need for rectitude and didn't sugarcoat. So when dread set its piston in her throat, Winona cracked a window, lit a candle, said, "Nancy, sister, help me get a handle." And she appeared, like smoke inside a net. "Winona, hi." A voice familiar yet wiser. Winona said, a pantomime. That's what my life's become. See, every time I'm sitting pretty, there I go and spin a web of spite. You know, Virago sin. I wish some awful wishes. I'd repent if I could just decide which threads I meant. It's difficult to broach. My thinking stalls, and lately I'm the one inside the walls of lonely. Tell me, am I, in your view, on the guest list at Satan's barbecue? And Nancy answered, honey, that's a crude perspective on the vast vicissitude of death. I can't say how you'll pay for spite or sass, and listen, I'm no proselyte, but I'll assure you this. If you think hell means monkey demons or a roach motel, then you're mistaken. Bodies come undone. What won't dissolve, that's hell. The rust of pride, the sticky guilt. But there's a brighter side. Nobody fries. Since death, like art, is long, just ask the prophets with their heads on wrong. All bets are off. From sorry sons of guns to straighter shooting fathers, tramps, to nuns who never kicked the habit, dying single. Post-mortem as on earth, we intermingle. It's quite the party. So you mean everyone ends up in paradise? Technically, yes. It's just that some of us enjoy it less. This is the last one I'm going to read. This is, after a while, Winona has to stop making clay people. So this is kind of about that, I suppose. Arts and crafts. She did the MoMA once, but griped, those drooping clocks aren't worth the hype. Surreal, big deal. It's poppycock. Best fit for stickers, gift shop slock. If time is fluid, not seen, felt, would memory make a scene clock melt? No, memory's too ethereal. Winona needs material with structure, surer shapes that hold a crease or secret triple fold. And maybe this explains the origami cranes she hangs, whose patterned surface somehow curbs mimesis, crafts less nouns than verbs. Her masterwork may never be considered museum quality. Among the high arts, hard on strings that root for concepts over things, but bending wings just so, she'd swear, with paper birds, she makes the air. Thank you.